Hello, I'm Dr. Kathy Marshak, and our topic today is Valentine's Day. But the subtopic is a frequent question that I get from neurotypicals. The question is, should I stay or should I leave? So this is a difficult subject, obviously, to be talking about at a time of year when we're supposed to be celebrating with our loved ones, especially a sweetheart. So this is how Valentine's Day often goes for my neurodivergent couples. By the way, neurodivergent means someone who's neurotypical in relationship with somebody who is neurodiverse or on the autism spectrum. And because you have two very different systems that you're using, these tend to be neurodivergent relationships. So this is kind of the typical Valentine's Day scenario. The neurotypical is expecting to celebrate, even if it's a mild celebration like dinner, going to dinner with your spouse, and expecting it to be a lovely evening, the two of you talking, enjoying each other's company. But frequently, your neurodiverse spouse doesn't want to go. They don't like the hustle bustle of the restaurant, or maybe they've worked all day and are tired of dealing with people and don't want to go out again. Or they show up and they aren't in a very good mood, or they are happy to be there and happy that you arranged dinner, and you probably, the neurotypical is probably the one who made the reservation, but they don't bring a gift. So that's kind of a normal thing. Let's say that once dinner's ordered, you expect to have some conversation. The neurotypical wants to engage, wants to connect. And your neurodiverse partner can probably do that for a brief period of time, and then they pull out their phone. And they start playing a game on the phone, or answering their texts or emails, or even answering a phone call, even though this is supposed to be a Valentine's dinner. In fact, I had one woman tell me this story. She had arranged for her spouse. The kids had already flown the nest. This was an older couple, and so she had set up a weekend for the two of them to celebrate Valentine's. A weekend at a B&B located in not too far from their home, but it was far enough away to be away. And it was a Victorian turn-of-the-century house that had been converted to a B&B, and she wanted to have a lovely little special weekend away with her husband. And so she said, I'll go early and take care of everything. She arranged the reservation. She got the meal set up. She had candles on the table. She set everything up special for the two of them. And she went early to get it all set up and make sure she was ready for when her husband came after work. He did come after work, and he showed up. He hadn't cleaned up. He was still wearing the same diesel-covered overalls that he wore to work. And he did stop and bring by her a card. And the card was in the brown paper grocery bag, unsigned, and he handed her the bag and said, I didn't have time to sign the card. Hope you don't mind. So I think she did mind, and it felt really like a big letdown. So this may seem like a silly thing to complain about, except that I call these not so ordinary moments that happen not just at Valentine's Day or your birthday or Christmas or any other time of year. They are day in and day out of the neurodiverse person struggling to know what to do to show their partner that they're loved. So these not so ordinary moments will add up and add up and add up like 1,000 paper cuts, and the neurotypical finally just blows up and says, I don't know if I should stay or I should leave. And they can't answer that question. Now, neurodiverse people can answer that question. If it's difficult enough, if it's stressful enough, neurodiverse people will leave the relationship to reduce the conflict. They don't necessarily reach out to talk about what would reduce the conflict. They just leave to reduce the conflict. Sometimes they leave for a day, a weekend, or forever. Neurotypicals have a terrible time answering this question of should I stay or should I leave, because it's not a resolution. If they leave, they're going to feel crappy, and if they stay, they're going to feel terrible. right? It's not solved. For neurotypicals, it's about solving it. It's about connecting with your partner and finding a way to want to stay with each other. Or if the relationship has really worn out, how do we leave amicably? Still be good parents to our children or even friends. Neurotypicals want to find a way to make it work even if it's leaving. So what I try to remind people about is that the question isn't should I stay or should I leave? That's a transactional question. Don't be drawn into black and white transactional questions or transactional solutions when it comes to being with your sweetheart, with your loved one, with your significant other. It's not do I stay or I leave. But it may seem counterintuitive that the real question is, how do I take back my life? How do I be true to myself, given that I have a partner who shows up with a paper bag and a card inside that's not signed? How do I still be okay with myself when it appears as if my spouse doesn't love me or doesn't recognize me, doesn't notice me? So that's the real question. How do I take back my life? And it's also true for the neurodiverse person, especially at Valentine's Day. I want you to take back your life too and stop operating as if your partner is making it difficult for you just because they want to know if you love them. They're not making it difficult. It's the way they interact in the world. Neurotypicals know who they are in relation to others. They're not waiting for an answer. They're waiting for you to smile back and say, I love you. And even if you don't get the card, it's okay. Smile. Let your partner know that she's loved, he's loved. Okay. When you ask yourself, how do I take back my life? How do I be authentic me? Then next Valentine's Day, what you might do is you might still make the B&B reservation, but maybe you make dinner with a couple of friends so that if your spouse shows up in diesel-covered clothes, you can say, honey, I'm headed off for the restaurant. Why don't you clean up here at the B&B? I brought your clothes. I brought some dress clothes for you. Clean up, put your clothes on, and meet us down there. Or what you might do is you might say, you know what, for next Valentine's Day, I would like to go away for the weekend, so I've already purchased tickets. I'm going to take the train to Seattle, or I'm going to go to this art exhibit that's 2 cities away, and I've got tickets for it. So I've made arrangements to go. If you'd like to join me, here's the phone number to make your own reservations. Now that may seem like that's not really celebrating Valentine's Day, but I want you to think about it. If you really want to see this art exhibit, if this is something that you treasure, going to it is good. Maybe inviting another friend to go is good. But I guarantee you, if you're willing to go without her or him, your neurodiverse sweetheart, they won't let you go the next time by yourself. They'll realize that that's important to you and that they better mark it on their calendar. Now, I'm not saying that if you are that brave, to go by yourself, that they're going to learn that they should do this. What they'll learn is that you have a new rule that you're following, which is that if they can't honor an important, special little holiday for lovers, like Valentine's Day, that you will go and celebrate by yourself. That's a more transactional way of looking at it. They aren't necessarily going to learn that you're hurt or angry or confused about it, but they will at least get the message that I better follow through next time. Okay, it's not that we're going to make these moments, these not so ordinary moments, stop happening, because they'll still happen. Neurodiverse people have a different way of processing information And it's very difficult for them to step into our interactive world. So they tend to go over here and look at, it more, well, transactionally, more technically, more, they listen to words, they don't listen to the person who's speaking the words. So they get wrapped up in doing step 1, step 2, step 3, step 15, and they forget to include the other person. But it doesn't mean that they don't love you. They just want you to be nice. And we want them to connect. Connection is important for all as human beings. We all want to be bonded. We want to be loved. We're there with each other is important. They want bonding as well. They're just not very good at extending the bonding language and the bonding behavior. So, what they have to do is learn that you are sensitive to that bonding behavior and that they miss it 9 times out of 10. What neurotypicals have to learn is that they want love. Neurodiverse loved ones want to be loved. And we can do that for them, but not if we don't take care of ourselves. So I hope that this Valentine's Day, maybe you've got some time to make this happen, but definitely by next year, I hope that you start learning how to be loving and kind to yourself first, and extending to that other person what you can, and hopefully that they'll step up to the plate and be there for you too. So if you want to know more about this crossover between neurodiverse and neurotypical, I hope you sign up for my newsletter, visit my website, take part in some of the other resources that I offer in neurodivergent couples. There's a link on this video. Thank you very much.